Is 38 years old too young to be diagnosed with Alzheimer's? Not anymore. It's not. I'm Fraser. Welcome to Bringing Hope to Alzheimer's. Today I want to talk about the early stages. People are starting to get diagnosed with Alzheimer's and dementia earlier and earlier. So what does that look like for someone who's in their 30s or 40s? Does it look like someone who's maybe in their 80s or 90s? Not necessarily. So when we're talking about early onset or people starting to show signs, did you know that some doctors will say it takes 15 to 25 years to develop full-blown Alzheimer's? Some doctors are also now saying that it could be as much as 25 to 30 years that you already are starting to show signs of Alzheimer's. And this is what I want to talk about today, because if you've got somebody in your life, a family member that has gone through some form of dementia or Alzheimer's, then there is a potential that you could possibly follow in those footsteps. And there might be signs and symptoms that are showing up way earlier than you would ever expect. So let's just talk through what are some of those things that people are starting to see. Do you walk into a room and you forget why you walked in there? When you're talking with people, friends, family members, do you sometimes forget a word and for the life of you, you cannot get that word to come to your mind? When you're talking in sentences to people, have you sometimes mixed your words up or kind of sort of mumbled through them and you can't quite get it out correctly? These are all just small little things that we all go, oh, you know, you've heard people say, oh, there goes my sometimers, or oh, had a brain cramp. Those are those little things that if you do once in a blue moon, that could just be you're stressed, you're going through something, you're tired, whatever. But if it's something that's starting to happen a little bit more often, those are things that I always use the phrase, pay attention. Pay attention if you're having struggles with your words. Pay attention if you're having trouble with formulating sentences. Pay attention if you are in a group of people are talking, and you're having trouble following the conversation. Pay attention if you don't recognize people's faces that you've seen before or you've met before. Pay attention if you don't remember people's names, but you always used to. These are all types of things that are early, just little tiny minute signs that maybe something is going on. And it could be something so minuscule, but if you just let it keep going and going over time, over that 15, 20, 25, 30 years, it develops into full-blown Alzheimer's. So again, I'm not a medical person. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse, but I am living with early onset pre-Alzheimer's dementia. I was 2 points away from being full-blown Alzheimer's at the age of 50. But like I said, my issues started at the age of 48. And it started especially with my speech and with my recall of words, of phrases, of messing my sentences up. That's how it started. As things progressed on, there are some times when I would see a sign and I knew the sign. Let's just say here in Kansas City, Quick Trip. If you don't have a Quick Trip where you live, Quick Trip is a gas station and a huge convenience store. It's super busy because it's amazing. So let's say I saw a sign for a Quick Trip coming up and I look at that sign and I'm like, Quick Trip. I know that word. I know I've been to a Quick Trip. I don't know what Quick Trip is. Those are things to pay attention to. If for one moment in the back of your brain, you're like, whoa, what was that? Pay attention to that. It's not becoming paranoid, but it's being somebody that's really, really trying to be progressive. You're trying to get in front of it, not behind it. It's really hard to prove prevention. So you can't become 80 years old and go, well, I never got Alzheimer's because of all these things that I did. That would be nice if we could track that, but you don't even want to go there. This episode is brought to you by Thrive Once More. And I'm going to tell you a personal story because Thrive Once More, I was looking for a new functional medicine, integrative medicine doctor, and I found Dr. Ann Morgan. She was a ER doctor for 22 years and got tired of seeing people come in so sick and just being able to treat the symptom that was happening at the moment and not really the inside of the body. So she started her own practice called Thrive Once More, where she helps men and women figure out what medical issues are going on in the body and how to get to the root cause so you can actually heal and not just take a pill or do something that's going to just treat the symptom and not the problem. So Thrive Once More, Dr. Ann Morgan, she's my personal doctor. If you want to make an appointment for just a quick consultation, you can go to thriveoncemore.com. And we want to thank her for being a supporter of this podcast. What I'm talking about today is if you're in your 30s, 40s, or 50s, and there's just little tiny things that you're starting to notice with your own memory or a loved one's memory, because sometimes we don't notice it so much in ourselves, but someone else will notice it. Those are all things to pay attention to. So I hope that this is helpful for you. And the thing I really want to get across is that Alzheimer's is not just an old person's disease anymore. We are seeing it younger and younger and younger. So being in the work that I do, I meet a lot of people who work in the senior care industry, memory care communities, and people in their 40s and 50s are getting admitted into these memory care communities that have full-blown Alzheimer's. So pay attention, take care of yourself, and if you have any questions or if you want some resources, we would be happy to send you to all the resources that we have, and you can do that by going to our website, thenightofhope.com, resources tab, and we have a bunch of different things there that you can check out as well. If you have questions, you can also email us at info@thenightofhope.com. That's INFO at thenightofhope.com. Thanks so much for tuning in today. We'll see you next time.